don't know you're not a monster. No, yeah, I feel good. What do you feel the worst about? Oh, you feel bad about it.
So I will always continue to feel guilty and responsible. Trust me, in the last 4.5 years, I've constructed, deconstructed, relived everything, wondered where I went right when I should have went left.
You need to understand what was going through your head, man. What happened, man?
So that's my hell, is second guessing everything and trying to figure out what I could have did different.
The suspect's father says he thinks the death penalty would be appropriate.
I'm leaning that way, yes. You can't do something like that to a person and expect them to get a free pass. I was known as the father in Colorado in the media who wanted his son put to death. At the time all this happened, I believed in my heart, and I still believe, that Dylan should have received the death penalty. If you commit a crime of this nature, then you have to be prepared to pay the price, even if it's your own son. It's a terrible thing to say, but as a father, I go to bed every night hoping somebody kills him in prison. And that's a horrible thing to say, but that's how I feel. I cannot forgive for what he did. I don't want to hear no excuses. He's an animal, and I don't understand. He wasn't raised that way. It's terrible to say, but I hope before my life ends, I know his life has ended. This is a picture of Dylan, October of 2008, on the airplane I flew in Washington. I don't look at it very often. The pictures of Dylan alone I've removed, and they're packed away. I can't bring myself to destroy them for whatever reason, but I don't show them to people. Right before I married Dylan's mother, I became an agricultural pilot. The common term is crop duster pilot. He was extremely happy that his father was a pilot. He could say, "My dad flies airplanes." He was happy. He smiled a lot. He liked to tell jokes. When he was little, everybody loved Dylan. He would steal your heart. Just a sweet little boy. This little boy would have never considered murder as an option. We refer to Dylan as Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader, a sweet boy evolving into a total evil person. In my wildest nightmares, I never thought that Dylan would do something like this. When you look at the murder and rewind everything, then you start seeing things differently. Because prior to the murder, you don't think anything like that's going to happen. After the worst of the worst happens that you don't even expect, then things that happened in the past tend to make sense. It was a Saturday morning. I had the boys, Dylan and his little brother, for the weekend. His mom and I were in the middle of a divorce. I was at a friend's house. Dylan and his little brother were outside. His little brother was riding his bike. It was corn silage chopping season, and so there's a lot of corn stalks laying everywhere. And as Dylan's little brother rode the bike by Dylan reached down, picked up a corn stalk, and shoved in the front tire. Dylan's little brother went end over end. We were watching from the window. I went running out to see if his little brother was okay. He could have seriously hurt his little brother. Dylan's first words was, "I didn't do it." He didn't know we all saw it, but we all saw it. I told him that we'd seen everything from the window, and I said, you're not telling the truth here.
You could have really hurt him doing that.
He just looked at me. He didn't show any remorse for what he did to his little brother, and he didn't really show any more remorse for lying. But, I didn't think anything about it other than the kid being mischievous. I didn't think he was intentionally trying to seriously injure his little brother. It would have been my first sign. Unfortunately, I didn't see it at that time as something was going to happen or something was changing within him.
You go inside and tell him you're sorry.
When you look back on that, he started small, doing little mischievous things, and he worked himself all the way up to murder. Dylan was a lot like me personality-wise. He was impulsive, and there's no doubt he inherited my temper. I mean, I have a short temper. I've learned over the years to control it. I don't think Dylan ever learned how to control his temper. It was a couple of weeks after the bicycle incident.
Hello.
I think Dylan was 10, and Dylan's mom called me frantic on the phone, telling me that my son had just pulled a butcher knife on him and more or less, in her words, chased him through the house with a butcher knife.
Wait, you're saying he did what?
And she wanted to know what I was going to do about it. Well, my response was, I'll come get him. Honestly, I didn't know what to think. You don't want to think that your child is capable of doing something like that. In those days, the divorce was bitter, and I always thought that his mother could be overdramatic.
Okay, yeah, listen, I will come over, I will come get him.
I thought she could have been exaggerating. I mean, that had happened in the past. Maybe Dylan wasn't as bad as I was being told. Maybe Dylan did grab a knife, but I wasn't sure that he actually chased him down the hallway or anything like that. I just couldn't reconcile that in my brain with Dylan. The morning I picked up Dylan after the knife incident, he was calm. He wasn't agitated. He didn't look mad. He didn't say a lot. I spent the whole day with him. I just wanted him to tell me what had happened.
Your mom says things got a little out of control at her house.
He said they were not getting along at all. They were constantly bickering, constantly fighting, accusations being made. She accused him of lying all the time and trying to tear up the house. He would accuse her of being a bad mother. Of course, I had no proof of anything. I'm just listening to the different things being thrown back and forth. But Dylan never denied that he had pulled a knife on his mother. He never denied that.
Okay, hey, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened.
I said, probably that's not the best way to behave, and you could probably wind up in serious trouble if something like this was to happen again. He agreed, and that was about it with that. To this day, I still don't know the exact truth of that situation. Dylan decided that he didn't want to live with his mother. He wanted to live with his dad. So, Dylan came to live with me in November of 2007. He thought he was entitled to whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, and I started to say no. And he didn't like it. The day that he threw the tantrum in the electronics store, he wanted a digital music player.
Well, you said I could have one.
Yes, but I didn't say you could have one that costs a fortune.
But it was one of the expensive ones, and I just didn't want to spend that much money. And I said, no, we're not going to get that. And he got upset.
Why not?
He said, well, I really want this. I was like, well, you're really not going to get it. And he got mad, threw a fit.
I don't want that cheap junk.
Okay, then we're leaving.
Fine.
I just made it clear I wasn't going to spend that much money, and we left. He didn't say a word all the way home. He wouldn't talk to me. He just stared off into space. I don't know what he was thinking. Maybe, he's sitting there hating me. I don't know. But he was clearly mad. He didn't get his way. I didn't say a word. I just listened to the radio. He had to learn that no is part of life. I just figured it was a spoiled child acting out because he wasn't getting his way. My fault in that is I just kind of hoped it all would go away. But looking back, Dylan harbored a lot of anger, deep down anger, and it was like a volcano building to a pressure point. I haven't looked at this picture in a long time. January of 2011. Some friends talked me into joining a dating site. I met Cindy. She was a veterinarian, and I was madly in love with this woman. People used to say that we could walk into a room and we lit up the room and everybody knew what we were to each other. She cared about how I felt. She cared about my happiness. She always made it clear she was in it for the long haul. Dylan was jealous of this relationship because it threatened his relationship with me in his world, which it didn't. I didn't do anything less with Dylan after I married Cindy. We still did things together. We went to movies together, just him and me. Nothing ever changed as far as I was concerned. When he became a teenager, pretty much at that point in his life, anybody that was a female, he would challenge, whether they were a teacher, Cindy. He didn't trust women. He was angry with women. The school called me, and I had to come get him. The principal said, you know, your son's kind of out of control. He's calling the teacher names. He's using obscene language. He's being aggressive.
I'm not going to repeat the things he's been saying, but there's no place for that kind of behavior in this school.
Dylan sat in the principal's office, and they were telling me what he did, and I was looking at Dylan, and he could care less. He was staring off into space like, yep, I did it. What are you guys going to do? In my opinion, Dylan had a hatred toward his mother that boiled over to other females. I didn't know how to deal with his anger, his lying. I never thought it was going to get dangerous. I thought he would outgrow it. We all do. I didn't know this, but he had told a lot of kids at the high school that one day he was going to snap. And when he snapped, there was going to be a lot of carnage. I never knew that until much later when it was too late. It was a week and a half before Thanksgiving in 2012. Sunday afternoon, I get a phone call.
Hello? Yes, this is Dylan's father. What do you do now?
Dylan stole Cindy's pickup.
Oh my God.
Him and his friend had drove it across town numerous times that afternoon. He ran a four-way stop a few blocks from our home. He hit another car, totaled that car, and did quite a bit of damage to Cindy's vehicle. Nobody was injured, but he had no remorse or no concern about what he could have done. I was mad.
No, I don't want to speak to him. I want you to put him in cuffs, and I want you to take him away.
I was so upset, I want him arrested. He stole that car. I want him arrested. Charge him with grand theft.
He stole it, and he should be charged with that.
Cindy was very reluctant to press any charges. I had to be very adamant about that. I was looking at it as tough love.
So, Cindy, I'm done. I don't know what else to do.
I said, we have to do this. And I think it will be a good lesson for him. I was hoping that if he went through the system, that he would realize that's not where he wanted to be. I pretty much forced Cindy to press charges against Dylan. So that night, they arrested him and took him to the juvenile facility. He was there for 72 hours. The judge ordered him released in my custody. He didn't say too much, but his attitude was, He actually let on that he kind of had fun. He was not remorseful in any way. Whatever. In fact, when he went back to school, he thought he was going to be popular because he could tell them these stories of juvenile jail. And he was thrilled about that.
You know, Dylan, I don't know what more I have to do to get through to you.
I said, look, you don't get it. All you're doing now is setting yourself up for one big fall down the road. But it doesn't have to be that way. We can work through these problems together and I can help you.
But you have to do your part.
I always told him I loved him. No matter what, I told him I loved him. He thought that he was the bad boy in town and he just didn't care. Now looking back, I believe it took him down a darker path in his attitudes to me and to Cindy. I think in his mind, he saw her as the one that tried to put him in jail, even though I made it clear I'm the one that pushed it. But in his mind, she became the target.
In my eyes, no matter how sorry I am and how remorseful I am, it doesn't change the fact that my life I've been through one thing. So, over one bad decision, my life is.
When I insisted we press charges against Dylan for wrecking Cindy's pickup, he was on probation for a year. He had to have good grades, not get in trouble, and he was to pay Cindy back for the damages. So he had to get a job. And he didn't like that. It interfered with his ability to go be with his friends or goof off or whatever.
What are we with this stupid probation all year?
Quit complaining, Dylan. We're only in this mess because of what you did.
The day that he lunged at Cindy, I think that she had said something to him along the lines of, there's no two ways about it. You can't get out of it. You have to accept this as your fault. He couldn't accept that. And I think that he was upset and humiliated that what he did got thrown back in his face.
I hate you!
And he tried to hit her. I literally, had to stop what was happening and push him back into his room. She was scared. I think that was the first time that she was actually considered she might have to be scared of Dylan. This wasn't good. And I hadn't really seen this before. I've seen him mad, but not to the point where he's trying to lash out. That's when I knew something was going on deeper than maybe I realized. He was more upset with Cindy because she was the one that actually pressed the charges on the court papers. Dylan took that as a act of war against him, I guess. He was making that progression to the dark side. It was becoming more and more obvious there was evil connected to him. On a Friday, he had gotten in some trouble at school. I grounded him. The next day was Saturday. Dylan was being a pain. Finally, I said, go to your friend's house. I'll call you when I'm ready to deal with you today. About 2 in the afternoon, I sent him a text. I said, it's time for you to come home. Nothing happens. I sent another text. I said, if you don't come home, I'm going to come find you, and it's not going to be pretty. He sent a text, he's not coming home. He'll come home when he wants. There's a knock at the door about 45 minutes later.
Can I help you? Are you Dylan's father? Yes, I am. Is something wrong?
And there's this officer from the police department, and there's this young woman from, she said, Child Protective Services. They had been called by Dylan's friend's mother and Dylan because they were concerned about me abusing Dylan in the house.
What are you talking about?
The officer said Dylan doesn't know if it's safe for him to come back here. All this time, Dylan's sitting out in the police car across the street. He was pushing our buttons. It was him exacting revenge, trying to get his dad in trouble, showing me that he could do what he wanted to do, and he could make my life as miserable as I made his. By the time it was all said and done, Dylan was figured out by the police department to be a troublemaker, and they wanted no part of his accusations again. It was the late winter, early spring of 2015. It was a Saturday night. I had to go get something out of Cindy's vehicle, and as I open up her vehicle, the lights come on. And outside the house, there was a pet carrier with a shovel next to it and a can of barbecue lighter fluid. And I thought, that's odd. That's not mine. I go back in the house. Dylan and his friend's in his bedroom. I call him out in the living room.
What do you guys know about the lighter fluid and stuff hidden outside the house?
Well, that's not ours. Let's go. I knew it was lying to me. It was there. They put it there. They said they were going to go. They left. I looked at Cindy and I said, you know, something's not right.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I suspected they were going to catch a cat, go out to the fairgrounds, douse it with lighter fluid, and light it on fire and watch it burn. It made me sick. It scared me. And I needed to let somebody know.
I better call somebody.
So we called the police. An officer went out and started patrolling the town, but he ran across Dylan and his friend. And so he read them kind of the riot act. If we catch you harming an animal, you will do prison time. Dylan came home. He came in the house. He didn't say much. I said, I understand the police officer had a talk with you.
Look, you even think about doing something like that again. That's it.
I don't want to ever hear of anything like this or see anything or suspect anything like this again, because I will not hesitate to have you put in jail for abusing an animal. He nodded his head, and that was that. And we thought, okay, Dylan's been caught. He knows he's been caught, and he knows the cops are watching him. We can put this to bed. A year later, I got a phone call from Dylan's mom. She wanted to tell me there were some things Dylan was doing before he came to live with me. And one of the things she told me is he was harming and killing animals around the neighborhood that they lived in Idaho. I wish she would have told me those things when he came to live with me. Had I known all that stuff, then things would have been different.
Dylan, what would you change if you could change anything?
I would not have food. Or I would not have hit her to the point where she ended up in bed.
You would just hit her until she was hurt?
No, I would not have even done that at all.
I think Dylan's moral compass was just spinning out of control. He was definitely going down a darker road. When he turned 18, he could make his own decisions. Then he decided to drop out of school. He'd had enough. It was about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. He looked at me and he says, I'm moving out.
Where are you going?
I'm done.
Done with what?
With this, I'm leaving.
I wasn't happy about him dropping out of school. I told him he was going to have to get a job if he wasn't going to go to school. He had to support himself.
What are you going to do about money?
Don't worry, I have a plan.
His whole plan was to mooch off all of his friends. He wanted to go live with a friend somewhere where he didn't think he had to work.
Okay, well, you're old enough. I can't stop you, Dylan.
I said, get your things, I guess. Part of me was concerned, but another part of me was relieved because I thought maybe we can get some peace in his household. He is 18 years old. He's at the point where he needs to start making his own decisions. I still hadn't given up on him. I still had hoped that we could figure something out for him. Get him involved in some program or get his GED and get him in a community college, learn him a trade, do something. I did worry about him as a father, wondering what he was doing and what kind of trouble he was going to get into without any supervision whatsoever. But in the home, it was just Cindy and I. Things were peaceful, quiet, and it was just easier for everybody. He would often call or come over begging for money because he had no income. Dylan was always welcome to come home for dinner on Sundays. That's when the money started disappearing when he would come visit.
Oh, I've been meaning to ask you. Have you seen my gold bracelet?
Oh, you mean the one that went missing last Sunday? No, I haven't seen it recently.
One of Cindy's bracelets disappeared that I had custom made for her. Objects of sentimental value disappeared. Anything that could be worth anything at a pawn shop disappeared. We did everything we could to make his life easier. And now here we are in the late teens, getting close to the 20s. And he's turned into a hoodlum. And that irritated me beyond all imagination.
You can't come over here anymore.
He was told, if I'm out of town, you're not to be at our house. If Cindy's home alone, you can't come there. And he said he understood. It was extremely disappointing that I had to tell my son he wasn't welcome to my home if I wasn't there. We had discussed about getting a home security system, but we opted not to do that. You know, now looking back, I wish I would have had a home security system. It could have changed everything. Cindy was at home in Colorado. Dylan was living across town with one of his friends. I was 250 miles south in Texas on a flying job. Whenever I left town, I always tried to leave a 9mm under the bed for her for protection. I had showed her how to use it. For my peace of mind, I just said, here, we'll leave this under the bed. If you need it, it's there. But this time, I think I was halfway to Texas and I realized I forgot it. I texted her and I said, I didn't put the gun under the bed. It's in the cabinet. She replied, okay, I'll take care of it later. It never got taken care of. It was left in the cabinet. It was in the evening. He called and said, are you still in Texas? I said, yes, I'm still in Texas. How long are you going to be there? And I said, I don't know. I'm going to be here for a while. I probably won't be home for weeks. He says, I had a funny feeling that something's going to happen to somebody in our family. I thought that was odd, but I was tired. I didn't want to deal with his BS. I didn't want to have to listen to him beg for money. I just said, I'm going to go. I'll talk to you later. Last time I talked to Cindy, it was late Thursday night, April 28th, 2016. I was tired. I've been flying all day, and she wanted to talk. And I just told her, I'm too tired to talk. I just need to go to bed. I'm just exhausted.
Honey, I really need to get some sleep. Can we talk about this tomorrow?
I feel like I blew her off.
Bye.
I figured, we'll talk in the morning. We always talk in the morning. She always either texts me first thing or she calls me. And then later that night, after I was asleep, she sent me a text. This was the final text that night. She knew I'd had a bad day. So she texted me that, I love you, John. I hope you will always know and believe that. You are my best friend. And I try my best to make your life better. You are a caring, compassionate husband. You have given more to me than anyone else. I can see us growing old together. I just want you to be happy and at peace with your life. All I want is my loving husband and my friend, and no one else. Love you forever, till death do us part. She was dead an hour and a half later.
I ended up getting her turned out to be way more than I thought.
What was going through your head when you were doing that?
The morning of April 29th. I woke up about 7:30. Usually I have a text saying, be careful, I love you, fly low and safe. I didn't have that text. I don't think nothing of it, other than maybe she's mad at me because I kind of blew her off so I could go to bed the night before. About 1:30, I get a phone call from Colorado.
Hello?
Turned out to be the Burlington Police Department. And the officer on the phone, he just said, do you know where your wife is?
Yeah, she's home today.
There's a rumor around your son broke into your home and beat up your wife and stole your firearms.
What?
I said, where are you? He said, well, I'm in front of your house. We don't want to break down the door. And I said, I live there. I'm telling you, break down the door. I want you in the house.
Just do it.
And he said, we're going to go in there and we'll call you right back. I'm just trying to keep a cool head and not get too excited. And I figured there has to be a logical explanation. Everything's fine. 45 minutes goes by. I don't hear nothing. Now I'm starting to think the worst. And I called back the number the officer called on, which was a cell phone. Somebody answered that phone, but they didn't talk. All I could do was hear yelling and screaming and siren.
Hello? Hello?
It was about 10 minutes later. One of the officers called and said, we found your wife. She's in the bedroom. She's gone. It's a horrible crime scene. You need to come home. I just literally fell down to my knees, and I remember saying no. I started to think somebody was playing a horrible joke.
Police say they found her body Friday. The evidence tape is still up today on the home where she lived with her husband. Police say the two suspects, Dylan Eason, her stepson, and Isaiah Churchwell, broke into her home Friday.
About 12:30 or so, Dylan and his friend broke into her home. Dylan immediately attacked Cindy. Isaiah held her while Dylan punched her, knocked her out.
Friends say Easton was very violent and told them he was going to snap one day.
She started coming to. Dylan grabbed a crowbar, went back into the bedroom, and proceeded to beat her to death.
Neighbors tell us Dylan Eason was a high school dropout with a troubled past, but they never expected this.
About 20 minutes he beat her in the dark. According to Isaiah Churchwell's testimony, Isaiah kept hearing thuds, thud, thud, thud. He could hear Cindy gurgling. Isaiah came in and stopped him and said, that's enough. Isaiah said in his testimony that the crowbar was wet, which would have been Cindy's blood. Had the 9mm been left under the bed like we normally did, it could have changed the outcome. It would have spooked him. Even if she didn't hit anything, she just fired the gun off, it would have spooked him.
Cynthia's husband says he's now lost his wife and his son.
I just want the world to know that she was a wonderful woman. She was my best friend. I can't imagine a life without her, but I'm gonna have to live it. The DA's investigator, he said, I just want you to know that she fought like hell. She damn near whipped him. So he says you should know that. Didn't do a lot of good. I promised to protect her, and I didn't. I promised her mother I'd look after her, and I failed them all. That's a horrible feeling. At that point, when I knew all the facts, I was flat out angry. And I wanted my pound of flesh, and I wanted revenge. And I'm not sorry for it. Dylan called. Said, what's going on, Dad? And I said, Dylan, you know what's going on. Something happened to Cindy. The cops are looking for you. I'm coming home. You better hope they find you before I do, because I'm coming home and hell's coming with me. Dylan was so petrified of what I was going to do to him that he hung up on me, and he literally ran to the police department to turn himself in. He was more afraid of me than being arrested. This picture was taken weeks before the murder. That's what that sweet little boy standing by that airplane became. He just looks gone. Lost, evil, mean, angry, confused. That's the evil he became right there. The day that Dylan murdered Cindy, it was a switch that flipped in me. It went from love to hate in a second. It was that quick that the hatred set in, and it's never left. I was so angry with what he did. I was so full of anger and wanted revenge and justice. If he hadn't turned himself in, I was going to hunt him down like an animal. And everybody knew it.
Developing tonight, these two young men are under arrest. They're charged in the murder of a veterinarian.
And now her husband, who is also the suspect's father, says he thinks the death penalty would be appropriate.
I'm leaning that way, yes. You can't do something like that to a person and expect they'll get a free pass. I was advocating the death penalty for my son. When I learned the details of the murder and how violent it is and what she went through, I wanted him to die. Nobody that does something like that to a human being deserves to live. I don't care if it was her, it was a homeless person that he killed, or a next door neighbor, I would still feel the same way. He did something horrible, he needs to pay for it. They found him guilty of felony murder, which is automatic life without parole, sitting in prison, eating 3 meals a day, while my wife is buried in a grave, and she's robbed of her grandchildren. She's robbed of her life with me. I'm robbed of my life with her. I don't think that's justice. He needs to pay for this with his life. I will not ever change my mind. It's a terrible thing to say, but as a father, I go to bed every night hoping somebody kills him in prison. And that's a horrible thing to say, but that's how I feel. I cannot forgive for what he did. I don't want to hear no excuses. With his attitude and his smart mouth, he'll probably wind up somewhere on prison grounds dead with his throat cut. And that's just as good to me. I had family members tell me I'm a bad father, that I should be supporting my son. I never stopped loving him until he killed Cindy. That's where everything changed for me. I can't forgive him. I don't know what else to do. If I show my son any compassion after what he did, I'm betraying my wife. I already let her down once. I'll be damned if I'm going to let her down again. The best part of me died April 29th. And I can't get that part of me back. I've tried, and I can't get it back. No matter what I do, it all comes back to, she's gone. People say, well, you got to get over it. You can't get over it. I'll never forgive myself for what happened to Cindy. Or for my failure with Dylan. I'll never forgive myself. I failed them both. And I'll live with that for the rest of my life. That's my punishment.
"30 years ago, I came here with Ken, my dad. My dad had sent me downstairs to go wait in the truck. Unfortunately, I had to go to the bathroom, and I held it as long as I could, and I finally decided to go upstairs. I would have never had to go in the bathroom. I would have never walked back upstairs and never seen anything. This was the first time I had ever seen a dead body that was not in a casket. That's something that I can never get out of my head. Every time I go to sleep, I picture things along these lines.
So why'd you kill her? I didn't. Yes, you did, Ken. Again, as I told you before, evidence says you did. I'll take you to court for it, then.
The stuff he did was stuff that would give most people nightmares for the rest of their lives. There's lots of people that didn't believe me. Lots of people thought I was joking. And they waited way too long, and too many people got hurt after that. I wouldn't have believed the kid either. But they should have. I was born in Cleveland, given up for adoption. I was adopted at birth by my mom, Kathy. When I turned about 7 years old, she introduced me to the man she was planning to marry, and that was Ken. Not long after, we were sitting at the kitchen table, and I had heard some stories through church about Ken, and that he wasn't the greatest person.
Matt? Come sit down a minute.
My grandpa and my mom told me that Ken went to prison. He had been convicted of a murder charge. I was told that he had ran away from home at 18 years old, and he had needed cash. Found somebody, robbed him. The robbery went bad, and the gentleman that was robbed lost his life.
It was a long time ago. He didn't mean to kill anyone, and he's sorry for what he did.
My grandpa said that Ken had made a bad choice and that people make mistakes, and that's why it was okay to give him a second chance.
And we all have to learn how to forgive.
Ken served his time 15 years. Just like anybody else, Ken deserves a second chance. And since he was out, then apparently other people thought he deserved a second chance as well.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So to me, being little for him to be out, then in my head, he had done something to deserve to be out. There's lots of times I don't think Ken should have ever got out of prison the first time. If he wouldn't have got out of prison the first time, there would have been a lot of people that were saved. This was the kitchen table at the 7th Street home, and he was actually teaching me how to play 500 rummy. This was the kitchen table we were sitting when I first remember getting choked. One of the first positive memories I have of Ken was the card games. But it didn't take long after meeting my dad for me to start seeing other sides of him that not everybody saw. One afternoon, we were sitting down at the kitchen table, and he started to tell a story about getting into a fight in prison.
So the next thing you know, I have 3 guys have me cornered.
He had gotten jumped by 3 people, and he used a broom handle to defend himself and killed those people while he was in prison. I laughed at him and thought it was kind of like, yeah, right. And then the next thing I know, I got a hand around my throat.
Are you calling me a liar?
He choked me and said, "Don't ever call me a liar." And I do remember hearing that over and over, "Don't call me a liar." My mom made him stop, and he never touched me like that ever again.
God, what are you doing, Ken? Are you crazy?
He never laid his hands on me, but I've also made sure to never insinuate or call him a liar, whether I believed him or not. He liked to tell a lot of stories, and sometimes the stories became very wild. And whether I believed the story, didn't believe the story, I never said I didn't believe him, because I knew how he would react if I called him a liar. He loved to teach me everything. I mean, he taught me how to hunt, trap, shoot guns. He taught me how to do plumbing, electric, construction. He taught me everything that he could possibly teach me. Ken always felt that hunting and trapping was important. He had built a trapping room on the side of our garage, and he hung the animals in the back. And this was the first time I had ever went actually with him to trap beaver. And this was one of the beavers that we brought back. Sometimes going in the room bothered me, seeing some of the animals just hanging there. There was always animals either hanging in there or caged in there. This photo was taken about a year after the incident with the possum. We were out trapping one day, and there was a very large possum that had its legs stuck in a trap. And he had his pistol.
He's still alive. Here, get a stick.
But instead of just shooting the animal that was in the trap that day, he decided to take his little wooden, he called it his beater, but it's just basically a little wooden club. He smacked the possum the first time, and he kind of laughed because it didn't die. He just continued to hit it over, and then he'd wait, and he'd do it again. And it would either move or twitch or try to stand up, and it would breathe, and he'd hit it again, and he'd back away again, and he'd laugh, and he's like, this thing won't die.
Look, he's fighting. He's fighting.
The entire time he's hitting the possum, he looked demented. His eyes were blank. He had a really weird smile on his face. I would say it was a sadistic smile. I've never seen him smile like that before. I'd seen him kill animals before, but that possum was just, I don't know, he looked like he was enjoying it. It had to be 5, 10 minutes when it could have just been ended in a matter of seconds.
Let's go.
Once the possum was finally dead, he handed it to me and I had to carry it back to the truck.
Let's go.
It was upsetting. I've never seen him like that before, and I never understood it. But as I thought back about it, I thought, he had told me the story at the kitchen table about beating people with a broom handle, and then I saw him beat a possum with his little beater, as he called it. And that was the first time in my memory that I thought maybe that story was completely true. I started to believe his stories more after that one. Ken always had guns. but he wasn't allowed to own a gun, being that he was in prison and he was a felon. That's why he always had them hidden. Ken had guns hidden under a fish tank he made. He had an old vintage Coke machine that had guns hidden in it, guns under the bed, guns in his trucks. His favorite gun was a 9x18 9mm. That gun traveled with him everywhere. I remember the first time he actually cleaned his gun in front of me. He would wipe off each round as he put it in the clip. He would have gloves on, so his prints weren't on the bullets. He told me every time I touched a gun to make sure I wiped it off completely.
You never want to leave your prints on a weapon.
And I was fascinated because I was listening to him tell stories.
Even when you got gloves, you can't take that chance.
He started to tell me about his past and stuff that he had done. Being a problem solver was his words for it. In Ken's own words, a problem solver was a hitman.
And when people ask me to solve their problems, this is the one I use.
And he claimed to be a problem solver for a few families.
But there are rules.
There were many jobs that he claimed to have done, many situations that he's claimed to have solved. I can think of probably 15 stories, at least. If he said he had a problem to take care of, he would disappear. He'd be gone for a few days. He'd come back a little bit different. He'd be a little more closed off.
Now get out of here. I'll be back in a few weeks.
I had seen movies that have had hitmen, so I had the basic idea of what a hitman was. I remember back then when I was little, I wasn't 100% sure. As I got older, I completely believed that he did that. He was a killer. When I first met Ken, we used to go to garage sales all the time. If there was a garage sale, he'd stop because he always wanted to see what he could find and make money. One afternoon, we stopped at a yard sale and there was a drafting table, drawing table. I love to color, I love to draw.
Ken, check this out.
When I saw the drafting table, I wanted it more than anything. I begged for it.
Can I get it, please?
Let me ask the lady.
And I remember there was a lady that was there. He started to negotiate with her at that point for the table.
How much for that table?
That table there's 85.
He kept trying to get it, but he didn't want to pay her price.
I'll give you 40 for it.
His favorite thing was to negotiate. And he couldn't negotiate it.
Come on.
But, Ken.
I said, let's go now.
When we went to leave, he was his word would have been livid that he couldn't get it for what he wanted it for. He kept saying, well, I'll get it. Or I'll get you one. He kept reassuring me that I'd get it. He was angry. We left the yard sale. He took me home, dropped me off, and he left me there. He left me at home for about an hour. He came back and picked me back up. And then we went back to the garage sale. The drafting table was already outside the garage, which wasn't where it was when we were there earlier. And he said that it was mine.
Wait here. I'm going to get the table.
There was nobody else at the garage sale. I did not see the woman at the garage sale any longer. I thought he went back, and I thought that maybe he went over there, negotiated, got it. I mean, he was persistent, so I didn't think anything of it.
Hurry up. Come help me. Hurry up.
The only change I noticed in Ken when we went back would be the fact that he was in a hurry. As soon as he came out of the garage, it was, it's time to go. We got to go. Let's load it. And we didn't even strap it down, which we always strap stuff down. We loaded the drafting table up and we left. And I remember when he drove home a different way than we drove the first time. It's in a matter of a couple days, the cops were at our door. And they're questioning him about somebody dying because somebody recognized the car at the house. The woman was dead. I didn't know who until later on. It might have been a couple years before I realized that the two were connected. Looking back now, I know he's the one that did it. And I know the cops know he did it, but the cops can't prove it. I was only at home, at the most an hour, and somewhere in that hour window, I believe she lost her life. I feel that me asking for the table is what cost her her life. And that's, that's something that I've lived with for, 30-some years? I want to say I'm sorry. I feel totally responsible. Totally. 100%. If I wouldn't have said it, then that wouldn't have happened. And I don't think I've ever admitted that out loud. Ken always did odd jobs for everybody. He'd do everything from plumbing to work on bars to do roofs, built garages, rip stuff down, move people. He often brought me along just to help him out. When I was 12, maybe 13 years old, Ken took me along to another job. This time we were helping a friend of his, Patty, move some furniture from one apartment to another. Ken was the maintenance man for that building. We had taken some stuff up already, and Ken says, go ahead and wait in the car. I'll be down in a minute, and we'll get finished up. This looks like the last of it. I went down in the car and sat there. 5, maybe 10 minutes. I ended up having to go to the bathroom. So I got out of the truck, which I was told not to do. And I walked up the steps to the new apartment. I turned right to go in the door. I turned the door handle, and I saw her laying there. I saw her bloody and naked. I knew she was dead, but I didn't know what had happened. I'd just seen her 10, 20 minutes earlier. I've tried to block this memory out as much as possible through years, but I remember I screamed. I screamed and screamed. He put his hand over my mouth and he forced me down the steps. My feet were barely touching the steps as I was going down them. He got me out as fast as possible.
What's going on?
I kept asking what happened, and I was told there was an accident. That's all I was ever told.
You understand?
I was told to say I was never there. As soon as I got home, I told my mom. I don't think my mom believed it. I think my mom was blinded to everything going on. My mom still tells me to this day that if she realized what was going on, she would have stopped it a long time ago. I remember being told that I pretty much didn't see what I saw. The cops were there to talk to him that day. The cops asked me if I was there, and I was told to tell them no. If I would have said yes, maybe the cops would have found a way to question me, but all of a sudden it was dropped. I mean, they didn't question him anymore. Once again, there was no evidence. Between the police releasing him, between everybody telling me that, you didn't see it, you weren't there, I started to doubt what I saw. I'm like, well, did I really see that? Every time the cops do show up, they question him and let him go. Maybe I'm the one that was seeing it wrong. Rationalizing what I saw, I kept trying to tell myself that it was like maybe she fell, it was an accident. When she was getting out of the shower, she fell and got hurt and he laid her there. I doubted myself for a very long time. The yellowish tan brick building behind me is where Patricia was killed. She didn't deserve what Ken did to her. She was one of the nicest women that I've ever met. I was joking around with her on the first trip up the stairs. Everything seemed to be fine. And next time I walked up, she was just laying there. We came out the open door right there to the left of the electric meters, and we got into the vehicle right here in the middle of what would have been in the middle of the white brick building, and we left. I believe what happened had to have been quick. At least I hope it was quick. I hope that it wasn't drawn out, and I hope she didn't lay there when he took me away and potentially suffer. I believe he strangled her, and I believe he cut her. But I was turned around so quickly. I mean, I have somewhat of a vision in my head of what I saw, but I was told for a long time that I didn't see what I saw. He just kept saying that there was an accident and we had to get out. I had just seen her, everything was fine moments before. Now you're naked in the middle of the floor. That's It's not an accident. Ken did a lot of home improvement jobs. He also installed security systems. And Ken had previously installed an alarm system on a home, and he told me I needed to come with him to help him fix a problem that they were having with the alarm. We showed up, and the woman that lived there said she was getting ready to make cookies. We were working on the alarm system. Ken seemed actually relatively happy. I mean, I didn't see any issues. I didn't see anything wrong. I was in the bedroom. He was in the living room, dining room area. And I heard a very loud pop, bang, very loud noise, like extremely loud. I was like, hey, Dad, what was that? I was like, you all right? And he answers back, I knocked something over and I broke it. He's like, I'll tell you when we get outside.
Keep doing what you're doing.
He was like, just stay there and I'll get done. He finished fishing the thing through the wall. We hooked the wire up and we finished the alarm system and we went to leave. I walked by the room and you could see into the living room. She was in the living room when we left on the couch, ice pack on her forehead.
Don't wake her.
I asked him what was going on.
She's not feeling well. She's taking a nap.
He said the woman had a headache and went to lay down. He had helped her make an ice pack.
Here, take this.
He handed me it was his blue handkerchief that he always carried. He had me wipe off the door handle, the alarm panel, the inside and outside of the door as we carried everything out, which I thought was kind of weird. He was like, when you close the door, use your rag. He's like, we don't want to leave dirt marks. He made sure I was the one that wiped it off, and I set the alarm and I closed the door and then we left. That was the weird part, was why would we set the alarm with her in the house? Within a matter of 2 days, I had heard it on the radio. I'd heard she had died. I'd heard she got shot. Apparently her husband came home and didn't realize that she was deceased at the time. Thought she was just laying on the couch with a headache, and it took him a while to realize that she was gone. Early the next day, once again, the police were at our door. Then it started to click. And I started to realize, hey, something's going on. But once again, nobody believed me. I mentioned it to a therapist that I had had. My therapist pretty much told me that I was exaggerating, that I didn't know what I was talking about, which seemed to always be every adult's answer. There's lots of people that didn't believe me. Lots of people thought I was joking. And I told my mom that I thought he did it. And she thought I was exaggerating. I also talked to Ken, and I asked him why this kept going on. And his response was, oh, it's just BS. Every time that there's a murder in Canton, they come to me. I'm freshly out of jail. And when he said that, I'm like, okay, well, maybe, I wanted to believe him. And I didn't want to think he was capable of something like that.
Are you okay? You got nothing to worry about.
Every few years, the cops were at my house. Every few years, he was accused of murdering somebody. Nothing ever happened. If they hadn't evidence, they would have arrested him, but they never arrested him. If the cops didn't think he did it, then why should I think he did it? Then I heard that the husband got questioned. People were saying, oh, it was the husband. I thought, well, maybe the husband came home and they got into a fight. So I, once again, tried to, in my head, brush it off. A few years after the last incident, Ken got into an altercation with a friend/business partner, and it wound him back up in prison for about 5 years. By the time Ken got out of prison, my life had changed a lot. Him and my mom were divorced. I was already planning on getting married. Before I met my wife, I had 2 children with a prior relationship. For years, I had been in a really nasty battle over custody of my 2 oldest children. And it really caused me a lot of stress. And Ken was aware of everything that it was causing me. At the wedding, right before we were married, my fiance Mindy came up to me.
You're not gonna believe what your dad just said to me.
And said that Ken had offered to kill my baby's mom as a wedding gift.
Please tell me you're kidding.
She 100% thought he was joking, but I knew it was a real offer because I knew Ken's history, I knew Ken's path.
Babe, he wasn't serious.
Yes, he was.
I came to the realization that I believed he had killed the 3 women prior. When he made that offer at my wedding, I mean, pretty much confirmed everything I had ever thought. And I immediately looked at Mindy and said, I hope you told him no. She giggled and laughed and she's like, why? He was just joking. I was like, no, he's not. He's dead serious. Please tell me you said no.
What did you tell him?
Of course I said no.
I had no doubt in my mind that if we would have said yes within 2 weeks, that would have been the end of my oldest kid's mom. This was my wedding to my wife. This was about 10 minutes prior to when he offered to, as a wedding present, to kill my ex. He was beyond dead serious. I'm glad my wife said no, but he made that offer here, and an hour and a half, 2 hours later, when the wedding's over, he's sitting downstairs sharing his plate of food with my youngest son. It shows exactly what I dealt with the entire time. One minute he would be the guy that was in this picture that made the offer. The next minute he would be one of the nicest people in the world that would give you his shirt off their back. When I saw him sitting there holding my son and feeding my son sausage with my son on his lap, I looked at him and said, there's still a chance to make him a decent person. And I tried, and I tried, and I tried. Fortunately, it didn't work. When I first heard about Linda Smith's death, it was from an article I read in the local newspaper. I had met Linda Smith numerous times. Ken had done odd home improvement jobs for one of her friends. She had been at our home to have many cookouts and parties that Ken had on our property. And the weekend prior to her death, she was at a cookout at our home. I had read that she was murdered, and I had read that it was a gruesome scene. And when I heard the description, somewhere inside of me, I knew it was him. He was just over there. The first time I got to talk to him, he was loading his truck out back. I asked Ken if he had heard about it.
I just heard about Linda.
He was like, yeah, I heard it. He was like, I'm pretty sure they'll be here to question me before long. But this time I wasn't a kid.
You going someplace?
Yeah, I'm going to a buddy's house for a few days. Waiting for this to blow over.
And I said, well, what do you want me to say if they come? Just tell them I'm out of town and you don't know where I am.
I gotta get going.
I had no doubt at all that it was him that had done it. And I wasn't lying for him. I wasn't going to say, no, I didn't know where you were. I wasn't going to say you were out of town. I know where you are. I'll say where you are. I couldn't not come forward. I reached out to the police department and said, hey, you need to look at Ken. And they had me come in and they questioned me.
So what makes you think your dad's the one who did this?
And I gave the police details of what I thought happened. She was either strangled with this or this. And I started describing details of the murder scene without ever being there.
You seem to know an awful lot. Sure you weren't there?
And they said that I knew some details that were there that I shouldn't know for being somebody that wasn't there. And they were like, how do you know these details? I said, because they match another one.
What other ones?
They put me on to a lie detector test at that point in time. After a while, they realized that I wasn't lying.
Listen, if you're right, you could really help us out here.
And they asked if they thought I could get him to talk. They said, does he trust you? Will he talk about things in front of you? I was like, yes, he tells me stories all the time.
I'm supposed to see him this week.
That's when they had me wear a wire for the first time. It's 3:53, January 3rd. I'm going to Ferraro's to meet Ken Roth and have a conversation with him. I'm going to leave the recording on the whole way there, so it's already on and hidden. Every time I wore a wire, I was always conflicted. It was always a toss-up between the guy I wanted to put in jail and my dad. When they have you back in there again?
The other night, they called me at 8 o'clock in the evening and asked me all the same damn questions.
I went out of my way to try to get Ken to admit to stuff. I tried to get him to talk about Linda, and I tried to get him to talk about the 3 when I was growing up.
They think of me as a better husband, but they have no proof, no evidence, no nothing. Right now, they're the dead end.
Oh, it's like they weren't all the other ones. I was trying to get anything and everything that the cops could use as leverage to get him to admit to murdering Linda.
The paper said she was strangled.
I never read the paper. I didn't even get to see it. He would have never thought that I would have been the one wearing the wire. Which is why I knew that if anybody was going to get him to admit anything, it was going to be me.
So it had to be somebody who either had keys in that house or knew her real well, because her keys were in the house with her. And yet nothing's missing, they said. All the rings, her jewelry, everything was still there. So it had to be somebody she knew. Because they asked me if I knew who it was, I said no.
The times I wore a wire, he always had his gun on his hip. Always. So every time that I was sitting there talking to him and he had his gun, I'd think, what would he do if he knew I was wearing it? And I knew he would have shot me. And that kept pushing me back to the reality of I need to get him to talk. That actually kept me focused on what I was supposed to do. It's par for course. You know how they act. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah. Like I told them, I can play their dumb games as long as they can keep playing them.
That was one of the times I wore a wire to try to get him to admit to stuff. I was pushing the issue quite a bit more there than I normally would have. Because I was afraid he would hurt somebody else. I was afraid of what he would do to the next person or how many next people there would have been. I kept fishing for a long time to see if I could get him to admit something. And I think that around that point in time is when he realized too that I was up to something. I have no way of knowing for a fact how he found out, but I believe that he found some way to realize that I was talking to the police. That's when I realized that he was even more dangerous than I thought he was. After I started speaking with the police, I noticed some strange things happening. A truck ran me and my son off of the road next to our home and put us into a ditch. Somebody came in our house and loosened plumbing under 3 different sinks at once, to the point that our house was filling with water. Next night, somebody went and opened all of our house windows. People started disconnecting our car batteries. Then stuff started coming up missing. Like a picture might be moved from one room to another, or a picture of all of us might be gone. Only one other person had a key to our house, and that was Ken. I started to realize that maybe it was a message to shut up. That night, we were all in the living room. We were just kind of hanging out like we always do, getting ready to watch some TV. All of a sudden, I noticed a light, a red dot, shows up on like my chest. It hit me right here.
The hell is that?
And the light started to move on the wall and towards where my oldest son was. And before it could get to my oldest son, I yelled for Minnie to turn off the light and get down.
Shut off the lights.
I shoved my son to the floor. It wasn't one of those little pins like you shine through somebody's window. I mean, I've seen laser lights on weapons before, and it's exactly what it was. It was not a laser pointer. It was actually a laser sight off of a rifle or a pistol. And I know Ken had one on a rifle, and I know he had a laser sight on a pistol. I was so scared. I don't think I've ever been that scared personally in my life.
Go that way, go. Stay down.
I believe it was Ken that was trying to scare me because I had information and I knew details that nobody else knew. And he knew that. We kept the lights off. I ended up moving everybody into a room that only had one window on it that faced the other direction. That was the night that we decided that we were going to get a U-Haul and leave. We were going to leave everything. I gave up everything, my whole life, my whole career, and moved into a basement for the next 2 years. We didn't tell anybody where we lived. We basically just hid. Got a call from a friend that told me that there was 20 to 30 cop cars surrounding the house, cops everywhere. Ken wound up getting arrested for a weapons charge to where a felon's not allowed to own a firearm. So they arrested him and he was given 2 years in prison. During that time, the investigation into the murder of Linda Smith had picked up. A new sheriff had taken over and was really pushing to make sure Ken did not get out of prison after the 2 years.
So let's go to the 2009 homicide, Linda Smith.
About a year later, he was charged with the murder of Linda Smith.
Tell me about your relationship with her, how you know her.
I did some work for her, put lights in for her, in her basement, GFI, and hauled some furniture for her.
I wasn't sure exactly what leverage they had, but I thought they finally got some leverage to do something.
So why'd you kill her?
I didn't.
Yes, you did, Ken. Again, as I told you before, evidence says you did.
Well, take me to court for it then.
Me and my wife went to the trial every single day, and we sat right behind where Ken's seat was, next to the family of Linda Smith. But I was there to support the family, not Ken.
I just want to know why you did it.
I didn't.
You did.
So, believe what you want.
You were seen at her home, Ken.
I've been at her house quite a few times working.
Drop an animal, and as much as I love him for being my dad, part of me hates him for putting me through everything that he put me through. I don't think there's enough evidence and enough people remaining alive that were around at that point in time to solve any of those. The only way that the family of those 3 women will ever know is if they watch me say that I think he did it and that I was there. That's why it's always been important for me to tell my story. I'd like some of the It was weird hearing his voice after this long. He was never going to admit it. He'd never make it that easy. It angered me that nobody believed me, because if people would have believed me and people would have listened to me over the years, all the times that I had came and told anybody, therapists, anybody, then she would have been alive. Part of me was saddened, because I knew that would be the last time I ever saw him in person. Once he went to prison, I never reached out again. I never attempted to talk to him. I debated writing him letters, but I never did. I wish I would have. I wish I would have wrote him and asked him why and seen if I could get him to tell me why he did what he did. Now that he's gone, I regret it even more because I'll never get the answers that I wanted. He was diagnosed with COVID. He ended up going into a coma, and while in a coma, his bowels burst and he died. I immediately got super depressed. I went in the bathroom and actually got in the shower and locked myself in the bathroom for a couple hours. I didn't want to come out. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to look at nobody. I was already feeling guilty. I was the one that helped put him there, and I was the one that made him die alone. I actually did feel validated. I know that sounds selfish, but I had told people for many years what was going on. And I had so many people that I had been around and grew up around that messaged me and reached out to me on social media, in person, and said, hey, look, I'm sorry I never believed you, but half of me thought I did the right thing, and half of me was like, I just gave up my dad. Lost a lot of family because the family didn't want to admit he did it. I actually had a family member tell me that I should have been grateful and shut my mouth. Can't believe you ratted your dad out. I can't believe you're a snitch. And that's the part that I felt guilty on. Wasn't the fact that he was spending the rest of his life in prison. It was the fact that he had to suffer and die alone. He deserved to live his life sentence out in prison. I don't think he deserved to die the way he did in prison. And that's something that I have to figure out how to deal with. I miss the good dad that I grew up with. I miss the man that taught me how to shoot a gun and families to have some type of closure. He's never going to be convicted, but I can tell you he did it. And I'm sorry. I should have screamed louder. I should have said something. I did say stuff, but could have maybe done something different. And maybe me telling my story will also potentially lead to other things found, other connections made. I know there were other murders. Every story he told me couldn't have been a lie. I have no doubt in my mind that there's many, many more.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm not scared of him anymore. What can he do? What can he do? I feel empowered holding these pictures now. Can I rip these up? He's gone. He's gone. He's gone, he's gone, he's gone. And if I was allowed to set a fire right here, I would. Because I feel like ripping him up, I could still see him. Look. See, I'm trying to rip him up and he's still looking at me. Monster. Evil. Demon. Goodbye. If you never believed in evil before and you hear about this, you have to believe in it now. I was in my early 20s, just got out of a bad relationship. A good friend of mine told me she had the perfect guy for me and that I just couldn't miss this opportunity to meet him. And the guy that she introduced me to was Patrick Fowler. She was like, he's just such a good guy. You're never gonna find another guy like this. And I'm like, well, how do you know him? Oh, he's my ex. And I'm like, well, if he's so great, why aren't you with him?
We were just growing in different ways.
We were young and there's just too much history there. But he's a great dad, he's a great guy, and I really think you two would get along.
I promise you're gonna love him.
She wouldn't give up. And I just thought at the time that she was just being a friend, looking out for me. But I think in actuality, she knew for a fact he was abusive, knew for a fact he was crazy. She used me to get away from him. But I didn't really know that part at the time. So when I met him, he lived up to everything she said. He's like, so tell me about yourself. You know, I heard you have kids, and just asked all the right questions. just want to look at him and tell him to go to hell? You're a piece of trash? Just because you're miserable didn't give you the right to ruin other people's lives? You know what? The longer I look at him, he's not scary. This picture, he looks like a little punk. And in this picture, he looks like a little punk trying to pretend he's not a little punk. So, to be honest, thank you for showing me this. This is gonna help me, I think. Yeah? Questions?
I know you gotta get back to your kid. I'm really looking forward to getting to know y'all a lot better.
I asked the same questions, but it was almost like Patrick avoided answering questions specific to him.
I just feel like I talked about me all night. I want to know more about you.
I'm just boring.
He would always kind of, well, this is about you. You're important. You can learn about me later.
Well, maybe I can dig a little something out of you.
So that means I get to see you again?
I just feel like he didn't want me to know him. He wanted to know me because then it would be easier to manipulate and control like evil people do. But at the time, I did not view it that way. I felt loved and seen and beautiful and appreciated and the center of his attention. And that's what matters to our name. 4 kids and 2 adults. This is expensive.
I'm sorry, guys. Not today.
So I'd be like, no, we can't do that. And the kids, all of a sudden, who were just having a great day, now they're mad because they want to go to Chuck E. Cheese. And now it's all on me again. Patrick would get the kids to beg me. You never let us do anything. And I felt like he did it because he knew that if I told the kids no, I'd feel guilty. So we ended up going, please.
Okay, go get ready.
But every time we did something, it was my money. I paid for it. Going out to eat, my money. Going to the museum, my money. Swimming, my money.
What the hell? You know I'm trying to save up for my own place.
Really uneasy. I was baffled and in shock because I had never seen him act like that before.
I'm so sorry.
At the time, I felt like Patrick was just acting like this out of jealousy, like a little kid. Looking back, Patrick views women as property. When we and Patrick first got together, he was very touchy-feely and endearing, holding my hand. I just thought he was affectionate. But as time went on, I no longer seen it as affectionate. I seen it as an obsession. In bed at night, when we lay down to go to sleep, he'd wrap his arms around me and a leg. It went from an enduring cuddle to almost a suffocating hold. If I moved, he'd wake up and squeeze me so. My childhood was really rough. I didn't have good family. I would have done anything to get out of there. But I had no family to turn to, no friends to turn to, no savings account. And it was just me as a single mom with my special needs son. When I met Patrick, he was like, well, why don't you just come move in with me? He lived with his mom, and when I spoke with her about it, I let her know that my plan was to save money as quick as possible and get out of there. Made very clear that I was just there to save up, get on my feet, get on out. But once I started living there, it was impossible to save money at all. We would just be normal, sitting there, having a good day, nice summer day, windows open. My son, his 2 daughters, and his stepdaughter.
I'm bored.
You're bored, huh?
All of a sudden, he'll say, hey, you guys, I have a great idea. Why don't we go to Chuck E. Cheese?
Who wants to go?
Me! Hang on a minute.
We had 40 days. Patrick convinced me to do so many things with the money that I would have never done that I could never get that dollar amount saved up to get out, ever.
Lighten up, okay? You need to have some fun.
At the time, I just thought it was playful. I just thought, oh, that's what dads do when you're in a relationship and you have kids. He wants to spend the money, but he wants to spend it on the kids. That's so sweet. That's such a great attribute to have. That's such a good dad. Now I know it was a part of his manipulation. Looking back, I definitely feel like this is Patrick's way of taking control of my finances because he knew I wanted out of that house. And he knew the only thing keeping me there was the finances. In the moment, I thought was the perfect man. I don't like to visualize him. I almost started crying. I seen his face and it just like, whew, scared the crap out of me. Oh. I don't talk about him a lot. So us talking is just like bringing stuff back. Sorry. I didn't expect this. I think it triggers me because I just wish I would have said no. Not sleep for that rest of that night. I felt like I was in a full-blown panic and anxiety attack for the next 2 days. He wasn't holding me to hold me anymore. Patrick was now holding me to confine me. Things just started getting eerie. That's the way that I describe it. I wasn't allowed to be alone at all. If I went to take out the trash, he was in the window staring at me eerily. I wasn't allowed to sit down at the table and eat a meal without holding his hand. I get up to go to the bathroom. Still see the pacing under the crack of the door with the light shining under. And I'm like, who is that? No response. I get up, I put on a towel, I open the door. He's standing there. Jesus, what are you doing?
Did you finish it?
He's like, why are you taking so long? I said, I just got in here. Why are you standing here? You've been standing there for like 6 minutes, not answering me. He just kept staring at me and I'm like, okay, well, I'll be out there in a few minutes. I'm gonna finish taking this bath. And I just shut the door in his face. I'll be done in a little while.
Watch who you're talking to like that.
Then Patrick's like, I knew you were no good. You tricked my brother into marrying you. You took my brother away from me, you raggedy bitch. And he looked like the devil. His eyes were just piercing. All I could see was his teeth and his nostrils snarling and spit flying out of his mouth. Patrick looks right at his brother and says, your wife's a whore and I'm gonna whoop her ass.
You gonna let this bitch whore disrespect you in mom's house like that? Settle down.
His brother gets in his face and tells him, you ain't doing nothing to my wife.
She playing you. You know she a whore.
That made me feel extreme. All of a sudden, whore started coming out. Whore, whore. And he would just repeat it. You're all bitches and whores. I was in a complete state of shock. That was the first time I've ever heard him say anything like derogatory towards me.
Did you just call me a whore?
When I got upset with him and he seen I was upset, he would, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just not used to being in a relationship. I just love you so much. I need to make sure you're okay at all times. And he held me again. I could going. That's not normal. I felt Patrick was definitely unreasonably obsessed with me. And I didn't understand why. One time, I wanted to wind down like most women do in a hot bath. I'm laying in the bathtub, enjoying myself. I got my, candles lit, thinking I'm finally alone. And I look at the doorway and I see, like, feet, that shadow of the 2 feet. So I'm like, who is that? No response. The kids are gone, it's late, everybody's sleeping, so that has to be Patrick. Patrick, is that you? And it gave me this eerie feeling.
Patrick, I can see you. Stop.
Still see the pacing under the crack of the door with the light shine tight. And I'd say, you're hurting me. And he'd wake up a little bit, loosen it up. Where are you going?
What's the problem?
I have to go to the bathroom.
No, you good.
He would literally tell me I was not allowed to get up and go pee. So I wiggled out of his arms and I went pee. And when I came back in there, he's sitting up. Where have you been? You've been gone for hours. I'm like, no, I've been gone for like 3 whole minutes. I peed, I washed my hands, and I came back.
I swear these bitches all the same.
And then I finished taking my bath. He just grabs me by the back of my head and starts kissing me, really rough. He rips my towel out. And he had sex with me. He raped me. And this is the first time I've ever said that out loud. Patrick raped me. From that moment on, I was afraid of that man. I felt that Patrick, he now sees me as his belonging. But I stayed because I felt trapped. I had nowhere to go. I have no family, no money, nowhere to go. What am I supposed to do? And I know that can be hard to understand from people that have never went through this before. And all I can say to you is be grateful instead of judgmental. You don't have to understand me. Just respect what I'm saying and don't down me for it. I get a random phone call. Hello? And I don't recognize the number, but I answered it anyway. And there was a lady on the other end and she asked for me by name and that freaked me out. Yes, is she? I said, who is this? She said, this is Mr. Fowler's probation officer. Do you have a few moments to talk? Probation? Probation for what? I was told by the probation officer that Patrick had failed to register on the sex offender registry, which I didn't even know he needed to do that, because he had... When I met his sister-in-law and his brother came to town, that was the very first time that I started noticing is just disdain for women. He had a brother that lived out of town, him, his wife, and they had one roommate. They were gonna be coming to visit. So we're sitting there watching TV in the living room. His brother's wife starts complaining her back hurts, so she sits down on the floor next to the roommate. She was sitting Indian style on the floor. And the roommate of his brother's wife laid his head in her lap. Patrick flipped out.
You whore? What the hell are you doing?
Patrick jumped up, and the first thing he said was, get the out of my mom's house, you whore.
You wanna touch you like that?
She's like, what is your problem, Patrick? And she's like, you're not gonna talk to me like that. You will respect me. I am the wife of your brother. Okay, you need to... Patrick's probation officer said that she needed for me and him to come out to the probation office. He tried to intimidate me. He got in my face. I better say what I'm told. I better do what I'm told. Or he was like, or you'll be sorry.
I mean it. I swear, you better not make things worse.
The light and life was out of his eyes. He just seemed like a different person. Unbelievably betrayed by this girl. Goodbye. I got played from the very beginning. I was so mad that I kind of just hung up on her. And I went up to him and I said, you're on probation? Patrick, why is there a probation officer calling me saying you're a sex offender? Patrick told me that it wasn't what they were making it seem. He was, no. It was petrifying. In that moment, I just felt like I'm nothing. Like I am absolutely nothing. No, please. He didn't say one word. He didn't look at me. He didn't speak to me, anything. He just dragged me back to the house. And then when we got there, he put me in the bedroom and wouldn't let me leave. He put a chair in front of the door and told me, you ain't going anywhere anyway. The teenager too. There was a girl in the neighborhood that had a crush on him. She lied to him about his age and he thought she was of age. And the girl came on to him and then said that she lied and said his hands were down her pants. So he basically was the victim The world was against him. He didn't do anything wrong.
I don't believe that probation officer over me.
I didn't even do anything. All I did.
Shut up.
I had an opportunity again to maybe escape, but he scared me out of taking it. He would whisper in my ear, say one thing, I dare you. That's a threat. So I said nothing. I went in there and I just lied. That night, I had just had enough. I didn't want a sleeping held. That night was a game changer because that was the first time that I didn't just feel like I couldn't leave. I knew for a fact I can't leave. I did feel like Patrick was actually to the point where he was something was going to happen really soon. I didn't know when or what or how. I didn't know the extent of it. I just knew it was going to be something life-altering for me. And it wasn't going to be good. So one day, my son was in the bedroom. He's playing with a handheld video game. And Patrick keeps telling him, put it down, it's time to eat. Put it down, it's time to eat.
Put the game down.
Down that night. I wanted to get away from him, and I was going to make an attempt finally. My son's at a friend's house. I packed up a bag, and he's like, you ain't going nowhere. And I just looked at him. I'm like, okay, we'll see. I don't think he thought I would leave. And then all of a sudden, snatches me up and carries me off. I'm screaming for people to help me. Oh, someone help me. But we were in a horrible neighborhood where you see stuff like that every day. Please let me go. And the community's approach is to not get involved.
Time for breakfast. I said it's time to eat.
Just let me finish.
My son has autism. And when Patrick took the game away and said it's breakfast time, my son had a meltdown.
Give me the game.
Don't talk to him like that. I snatched it back from Patrick and gave it to my son and told him, don't you ever touch my son or his stuff again. He looked at me, he said, you stupid bitch.
I talk to him however I want.
Next thing I know, Patrick grabbed me by my throat, picked me up in the air and slammed me on the bed. No. I told him, don't hurt me. Don't do this, Patrick. Don't do this. You can choose not to be this man. He ripped his hand back and he just punched me. He would lock the door and tell me that I better not try to run. He trapped me there for 2 straight days. That night, he did not turn himself in. He tried to get me pregnant that whole night. I just felt disgusted with myself. Then the next day, he kissed me and hugged me, and he walked into that police station. When I went home, I scrubbed my private areas until they went raw. I took a Brillo pad and I scrubbed, and I just wanted to get him off me. Felt like a piece of meat. And I stopped being intimate after that for a long time. It made me feel, he held me down and punched me close-fisted in my face at least 10 to 12 times. The last thing that I remember was Patrick ran out the house and ran away. I was kind of in and out of it, and I got my phone and I called my mom. And next thing I knew, my mom was there to get me and take me to the hospital. The only thing that I could think of is it's now or never. This is my time to get out. I'd be like, you know, it'd be a shame if something happened to your mother. Click, hung up on me. He knows where my mom lives. My son is at my mom's house. I just sat there crying. Then he called me again. So, have you decided that you're ready to talk now? And he's like, I just need to see you one time. Please, I'll do anything. I'll turn myself in if you just agree to come. Patrick was on the run at large. Police couldn't find him. They couldn't even find any leads. They had no idea where to even look. And he began to call me while I was in a hospital bed. At first, it would be, I just need to see you. I just want you. I just can't live without you. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm away from you. Don't you ever call me again. I don't want to see you again. Patrick kept calling me and I kept saying no. And then it switched from that to, well, I'm going to kill you. Do what? Then he called me and have one last conversation with me. Okay, I'll come if it stops all of this. All I can think about is this a trap? Is he setting me up to where nobody will know where I am? Nobody will be able to find me. And he just said he was going to kill me. Is he just trying to lure me in? And I just decided that with weighing my options, I was unsafe either way. And I was tired of the unknown. The police are telling me they can't find him. They have no leads. I just wanted it to be over. I wanted it to end. I wanted the torment to end. I couldn't live like this anymore. I just felt like, let me let him get it out. Let me let him get whatever he needs in his crazy head so he will walk out this door and turn himself in. Well, I think we can make it work, but you made me a promise. I definitely pretended we were good again. I told him I promised you I'd come and have a conversation with you and that you were supposed to turn yourself in.
I want it. Let's talk about it.
And he was like, the only way I'll turn myself in and I'll believe that you're gonna wait for me is if you get pregnant.
I'm not going nowhere until we talk this out.
He sexually assaulted a minor or child under the age of 16. I went in complete shock. And the first thing I said is, what are you talking about? She said, do you have children? I said, yes, I do. She told me right then and there that I had to come in and meet her, that Patrick wasn't allowed around children. And then she let me know he just got out of jail. He was incarcerated this last time for domestic violence on his ex. My whole world kind of just crumbled. This was my friend, and she told me he was never abusive. And I just felt like a knife through the heart. Like I felt so disgusting. And I think I'm having a panic attack because I all of a sudden can't breathe. And it's freaking me out. So I want to tell you instead of trying to pretend to be strong like you asked me to. Because I can't breathe. Let's get some air. Yeah, I can't breathe right now. My apologies. I can't breathe. Yeah, please, I need a flashlight. Once I found out I wasn't pregnant, I found a really nice house, me and my son. I just felt like the sun was shining on us. What I was being told from the victim witness advocates and everybody else was that he was going to be getting at least 5 to 10 years. And then all of a sudden it was, oh, he took a plea deal. He's just gonna do these couple of years and he's not getting a felony and he's getting good at drawing. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute, this is my damn house. He knows exactly where I live. I've come to find out that it was an inmate he was incarcerated with, got released. And he sent him to look for me. It was just like his way of letting me know, even when I'm in jail, you are not safe from me. Crumbled it up and threw it away. He promised me if I communicated with him, he would turn himself in. He gave me the address. I was petrified. Every step I took, it was like when you're pulling petals off a flower. He loves me not. I'm gonna die, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna die, I'm gonna live. My thought was, as soon as the door opened, I was gonna get punched in the face or stabbed and wake up tied up somewhere. But instead, when I opened the door, he hugged me and started crying.
Christina, I'm sorry.
He wanted to make sure that we were still together again about babies and marriage, and said, okay, you have to go and get your wedding dress. I don't understand. Stop calling me. he got mad and said, "You're gonna go look for a dress right now." And I'm like, oh crap, I need to get this done. He's gonna send whoever to come get me. And that's when my tail would go between my legs and I would just go do what I was told to do. I just felt complete despair and devastation. I knew for certain that if I didn't play along when he got out, and tried to just pretend I never seen it. But I started receiving letters. I would get one once a week for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden they were coming every other day, and they did not stop. Hello? And then he started calling me, and he would threaten me on the phone calls. "Patrick, is that you? Don't hang up this phone call. You know I know where you are." He started talking a lot at all. I was drunk every day. I'm in the kitchen and I just started slamming a couple shots. And he comes out there and he sees me.
You getting drunk again?
And he walks up behind me and he starts, "You're a whore." And I just ignored him.
How many guys you been with when I was locked up, huh?
The next thing I know, I'm on the ground. He was squeezing my throat. I'm punching him and trying to rip his hands off of my throat. And I can't. I saw Patrick just standing there. I felt like all the blood was rushing to my head. I felt like I was gonna pass out. He walked in, and it was very eerie and silent. There were no words. And we just stood there staring at each other. And we just stood there for a minute. To me, it felt like hours. And then my whole body started shaking. He put his arm around me, kissed me on the forehead, and then he whispered in my ear, "Are you scared of me?" And I feel like all the blood left my body. Like I must have been pale as a ghost. I took a deep breath and I told him, "No, I'm just so excited to see you."
Your hands.
Time, and he can have probation. And I'm like, I thought he'd be gone forever. Until the letters started coming. One time, me and my son went to the zoo. And when we got home from the zoo, my son likes to check the mail. He grabs the mail out and brings it to me. "Mom, thanks." And I pick it up, and it doesn't say Patrick's name on it. It was from a different inmate. But I'm like, I don't know this person. I open it up, and the first thing it said was, "I know what your house looks like. I'm watching you, always watching." And I flip it over, and then there's Ed. "Okay, I'll do it."
Hey, hon, can you get the salt and pepper?
That day I was up in the kitchen about to cook my son some breakfast. It was a beautiful day outside. Turned some music on. We were dancing around the kitchen. He's helping me scramble eggs. And I hear a knock at the side door.
Just a minute. You get some plates?
I opened that door and I just kept telling him, "Please don't hurt me, baby. I love you." And I didn't love him, but I felt like telling him that would calm him. He finally stopped slamming me. I slipped out and I ran to the living room and he grabbed the butcher knives. I heard the drawer open and I will never forget this sound. Shh. Ever. It was so loud because it was so quiet. Then he comes in the living room and I'm just standing there begging him. I hear him go. I just shoved my body back as hard as I could into his groin area. It hurt him a little bit. I slid out through his legs and I just took off running. I got a phone call, and when I answered it, it was the district attorney's office, and they were requesting me to come to an in-person meeting. Thank you for coming in, Christina. The first thing I heard is, okay, we'll cut to the chase. Patrick accepted a plea deal. He got 2 years. Please don't do this. Please don't hurt me. You love me. Patrick, stop. Please, you don't want to do this.
You the one making me do this.
But I'm not doing anything. The next thing I know, he comes at me with a knife. He puts one to my throat in front of me. So I'm here. He has me grabbed by the back of the head and the knife's here. And he's looking at me and he's telling me, that's it. You out of your minds? That's what my life is worth? 2 years? The shock, bam, hit me. I heard nothing else they said to me. Charlie Brown, womp, 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 womp. I'm just looking around at all of them with disdain. I didn't feel protected. I felt like the last time he was incarcerated for the same thing, for abuse of me, he was allowed to stalk me from behind bars.
I'm sorry, miss, but he'll do time, and that's what we needed to make sure of.
I sat straight up and I leaned forward like this and I looked them dead in their eyes and I told them, remember me. Remember my face, remember my name, and remember my son's smile. Because you're releasing a monster. I've done all I can do except for be in the morgue. And you're gonna let him out? He will kill me, and if he can't find me, Lord have mercy on whatever poor soul he tricks into letting them in their life. Because if he can't find and kill me, he's going to kill somebody. He's obsessive.
I'm just surprised.
I didn't want him to know that I was scared. I had to play along. I had to play happy little housewife.
I was just making breakfast.
It made me want to die. I'd rather been dead. He wasn't even released an entire month before things went bad. I turned to alcohol. Not proud of it. This is all your fault. And then he says, we all died tonight. He turned me over right there, put me on my hands and knees. One hand here, and he had a knife here. He kissed on my neck, and he tells me, you ready? You ready? And I'm just sitting there thinking, what do I do? What do I do? He kissed my ear and he said, I'll never not love you. See you in the afterlife. And he takes the knife. You find me dead in a couple years, it's gonna be your fault. They promised me that absolutely when he would be getting released, I would be notified. There would be no surprises, no shock factor. We promised you this and didn't happen that way. It was somewhere in March 2016. Flowers blooming, grass cuts smell, windows open. And I turn it up and it says, the first thing I heard, brutally murdered in her home alongside her daughter. And then they put up a picture of Maddie. I was standing and I just dropped to my knees.
According to the criminal complaint, Fowler told police he watched as each of them took their last breath, and he thought of killing himself.
She was brutally stabbed over 20 times, and I'm like, he did it, he did it, he did it. It was him, he did it, and I couldn't stop. He did it, he killed her, he killed her. Why did he kill her? And I didn't even know he was released. I'm thinking he's still in prison. They didn't call me. I didn't get the automated call. I had no clue that I was in danger. And so then my thought is, oh my God, I could be dead right now if he would have found me, but I moved.
Fowler used Maddie's coloring books to start the house on fire. And after setting it on fire, he walked out the front door, taking Easter candy from the house with him.
He killed her the same. It's bliss for me. And I turn on the TV and I see him, and then it's all gone.
Fowler is accused of killing his girlfriend, Jessica Ellenberger, and her daughter, Madison Marshall. He told police he and Jessie got into a fight. He felt she disrespected him, so he stabbed her 26 times.
He had been out of prison for 3 weeks. And within 3 weeks, just like I told them, he will kill somebody within 30 days. It was 3 weeks.
Mr. Fowler stated that while this was going on, Miss Marshall was screaming for her mother. That's when he stabbed Maddie twice.
That's my final step. He admitted he's a monster. And I'm really glad that I came here and seen it, because I would have never seen it. Patrick Fowler is a coward. Patrick Fowler is a monster by choice. And Patrick Fowler is exactly where he needs to be. He's an animal.
We, the jury, find the defendant Patrick Fowler guilty.
Patrick Fowler gives a blank stare to the judge after the guilty decision comes just minutes after the jury reviews a video of Fowler confessing to the crimes.
I grabbed a knife and a monster came out of me.
What? Oh my God, he said it. I've never seen that footage. He admitted he's a monster. He said, I let the monster come out. That's exactly how I felt. I felt like he was fighting the monster, and he let the monster win. It was his choice to let the monster win. I can't believe that. Unbelievable. I wish I would have seen that a long time ago, instead of being scared to watch all the footage. It gives me some type of peace of mind, because I know he knows what he did. I know he knows that he's a monster. Patrick still haunts me in my dreams. I have nightmares once or twice a month. I'm not gonna have nightmares about him anymore. He admitted it. He said he was gonna kill me. He stabbed her to death. He said he was gonna stab me to death, stab my son, and then kill himself. And so it was just like, that should be me. I should be dead, not her. If I could trade places with her, I would. I would trade places with her in a heartbeat so that her daughter could live. I don't understand. I don't understand how somebody can be such a monster. Evil is